been a lot of questions. Mostly, how can I exist if Andy Prime died before he got a chance to use the time machine, which means that he didn't have a chance to keep living to reach the year 2300 and become me? And the truth is, it might be a paradox, but nature doesn't care about paradoxes. This is just... This is not... Well, this is pretty uncomfortable, but it turns out that I'm contractually obligated to continue doing this, and so... Not good, but after this video, I have a plan. We're going to straighten this out, okay? I know exactly what I need to do to get myself back. But first, I want to talk about compound sentences. Now, you might be thinking, wow, compound sentences, that's super easy, right? Wrong. Well, in some ways, compound sentences are super easy, but in other ways, they can become super complicated. Much like a lot of English grammar, the deeper you dig, the harder it gets, and the more confusing it becomes. Several weeks ago, I posted the simple sentence video, right? I don't remember when it was. Editor? Yeah. You can look back and watch that video again, but we're not going to talk about simple sentences for right now. I'm going to jump right into compound sentences. So the first thing for compound sentences that we need is we need a conjunction, specifically a coordinating conjunction. What are they? We can remember the acronym. What's an acronym? Good. We can remember the acronym fanboys. F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. Fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Those are all the coordinating conjunctions. Easy enough to remember. We already know their meanings, don't we? Just in case, here's a quick reminder. For basically means because, but because is a subordinating conjunction. We'll talk about them next time, or in the future sometime. And for is a coordinating conjunction. And puts two positive sentences together. Nor puts two negative sentences together. But puts a positive and a negative sentence together. Or has two possibilities, right? One is true. Yet means the same as but. One positive, one negative. And so, one is leading to another, cause and effect. Right? Easy enough, we know these. Anyway, moving on. This is going to also kind of get involved a little bit with parallelism, which we're going to talk about more in the future, but it's important to remember. Parallelism is the idea that different clauses and phrases need to match with our verb tense and our structure, right? And our word forms. Okay, so basically it works like this. At the most simple level, we put two sentences together using and, two positive sentences. I like pizza and I like chicken. Easy peasy. But if they both have the same subject in English, this is one of the few times that we can ax that subject, right? Let's actually use a different sentence to show this. Let's say, Andy jumps on the table and he jumps on the chair. We use a pronoun instead of the same noun because that's the way it works. But still, the subject is the same. Andy and he are the same. But we get rid of it. Andy jumps on the table and jumps on the chair. That's perfectly fine. Even rarer at this point, when we're making a compound sentence, we can get rid of the verb if it's the same verb. Andy jumps on the table and on the chair. But wait, there's more. The preposition is the same, on. Andy jumps on the table and the chair. This is getting wild. It's like an accordion. Wait, they're sharing the same article. Let's get rid of that too. Andy jumps on the table and chair. They're all good, right? So, fortunately, when we make compound sentences, If the verbs match, if the subjects match, if other words match, we can just get rid of them as long as it's parallel, right? Just remove it all. But now, a place where we run into trouble specifically is when we start adding negative sentences to the mix. And we have 4 different possible options here, basically. We could have not A and B, which is confusing because normally it would be not A or B, right? But if we say not A and B, it's because A and B are together. Not pizza and chicken. Because pizza and chicken we think of together, right? We combine them. The second one, not A nor B, which is the same as not A or B. Or we can do both of them, not A and not B, to be more specific. And we could do neither A nor B. Now, of course, out of all of these, they're pretty standard usages, except for number 2, not A nor B, kind of old-fashioned and stuffy today. But anyway, the problem is that we lead into some ambiguity here because of the negative part. So, for example, let's use the sentences, I didn't forgive and I didn't forget. Right? We could use the first one because forgive and forget goes together. I didn't forgive and forget. I didn't forgive nor forget. I didn't forgive and didn't forget. I neither forgave nor forgot. Neither did I forgive nor forget. Out of these, a few of these are kind of awkward. I didn't forgive and forget, pretty awkward. I didn't forgive nor forget, kind of ambiguous there. So in these cases, sometimes it's better to repeat the subject and repeat the verb to make it more clear. I did not forgive and I did not forget. It also adds emphasis. I did not forgive nor did I forget. I did not forgive, neither did I forget. And neither did I forgive, nor did I forget. Those are much stronger sentences. They're packed with power. So remember that if we're talking about 2 positive sentences, we can usually just get rid of a bunch of the stuff that is repeating. If it's the same subject, get rid of it. Same verb, get rid of it. But when we add negative parts to the mix, it's pretty confusing. Now, to continue this, if we want to have a negative in the first part and positive in the second part, we use but, right? We would say not A, but B. And to use the same sentence from before, we switch it. I didn't forget, but did forgive. Or, I didn't forget, but I did forgive. Which one sounds better? Personally, I feel like they are both okay, but the second one to me is a little bit more clear and accurate. Now, even though in both cases the verb is did, because one is negative, we can't get rid of it. We cannot say, I didn't forget, but forgave. It makes no sense. Or I didn't forget, but forgave. Would be the proper grammar, wouldn't it? It's not clear. So if even if it's the same verb, if one is negative and one is positive, we have to repeat it. Again, we can use yet instead of but if you want to sound old-fashioned. Not A, yet B. I didn't forget, yet did forgive. Sounds like Shakespeare. I didn't forget, yet I did forgive. Again, both are okay, but the second one sounds more clear, more accurate, and more powerful. Okay, now if we want to talk about some other ways that we can do this, if we want to combine the same sort of thing, it's a lot clearer. So for example, we're using I did not forget and didn't forgive. If we want to add the same verb but add a different verb but keep the same object, you don't need to and must not forget. This time we got rid of the object from the beginning, right? You don't need to forget and you must not forget. We removed the object from the first one and put it on the second one. Can you say you don't need to forget and must not? Yes, but it's unclear again. So if the object is the same for some reason, typically the object is the same if we have a different verb. I chopped the cake and I ate the cake. I chopped and ate the cake. We move it to the end. I chopped the cake and he ate it. I chopped and he ate the cake. It works, doesn't it? All right. And I think that's about it for the compound nouns or compound sentences. It's pretty simple, isn't it? We know what they mean. We got the basic rules. We talked about the more complicated factors of mixing negative and positive. I think we're in good shape here. Until next time, when I get my body back.